We do things differently. We're a clan of our own. We don't have people who are just here to paste the clippings or to run over to the newspaper with a release. You have a chance to demonstrate your capabilities from day one. This is an entrepreneurial place for everybody.
Who was Dan Edelman? His whole life was spent accumulating information, honing it, and making sure that his company did it.
Dan himself embodied the Edelman DNA by being exacting and being provocative.
Dan always had this brown leather hard-sided briefcase with him. And it would be on his lap, the top up, and his hands would be hidden behind. So he'd be asking questions and taking notes all at the same time.
One of my first encounters with Dan was to go into a meeting and realize I needed a notebook and I needed to be taking notes.
You never show up to any meeting without a notebook and a writing utensil.
And so I brought a pen.
He caught me once taking notes on my BlackBerry. That totally frustrated him.
Because in the relaying of the notes, you're controlling the future.
What's interesting is that as our focus on communications has expanded and evolved, the principles that Dan founded the organization on remain the same. It's about this commitment to quality.
It's the ability to take calculated risks.
I think tenacity.
Having an entrepreneurial spirit.
I think about our independence and it allowing us to stay laser focused on investing in our people, but also investing in our clients and what's right for our clients.
That hunger, that entrepreneurial drive, that need to always win and to grow, I think those things really speak very strongly.
On my first day, when I arrived here in Chicago, I came into the museum, into Dan's office. And I remember putting my hands on the desk and just whispering to myself, I'm gonna do this for you. I got this for you.
Dan had a very simple philosophy about how to run a business, which is you have to have relationships with the clients, you have to go walk the halls, and nobody is too fancy to be an AE.
It's well known that Dan Edelman used to say everyone is an account executive.
Traditional public relations, be it digital, paid media, SEO, creative, we're all still account service people.
He really gave us a sense of pride that no matter how young or junior we were at the firm, we all had the ability to drive change as well as impact where the future of the firm was going.
Dan deeply cared about you as a person. He cared about your family. He cared about who you were, far beyond the fact that you showed up and worked at his firm.
One of the evenings we were here kind of late, and it was funny. He walked out, he goes, I'm going home, everybody else has to too. You shouldn't be here later than the boss.
One of Dan's values was his commitment to excellence, and I think that diversity and inclusion is a key component of that, making sure that we have diverse perspectives around the table as we're working towards programming for our clients.
His principles, I would say, not only directly contributed to enabling us to take advantage of the changing environment, but they're the very foundation of it.
His vision ultimately was to be creative and ensure that we were doing the best job telling a client's story and getting it the most reach to the audiences that mattered.
You know, Dan sort of came out of a journalism background, and it was always, what's the story? And what are we trying to tell here? And why does that spokesperson make sense? And what's the visual behind it?
He had such a vision about what PR could be and the value. And I think he'd look at the work we do today and say, yeah, I was right.
Dan Edelman's legacy is to embrace change to the benefit of our clients.
This company and what we are and what we're becoming came from one man's idea, his courage, his drive, and sort of an unstoppable nature.
You know, there's something to a kid from New York who moves to Chicago and then has the idea to set up the first marketing PR firm. And there was a relentless aspect to Dan, one of ambition, of drive, but of decency. He always wanted to win the right way. He wanted to outwork the other person. And to have Edelman be the paradigm firm in the sector. And in that, I really think he's succeeded.
Our independence, our being different, feisty and hard-hitting and creative and courageous in coming up with new ideas. That's what we're all about. And that's what we want to continue to be about.